afternoon. Welcome to Midday News right here on 3FM 92.7. We come to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra and our numerous affiliates across the country. Also live on our social media platforms on Facebook and on X. Coming up this afternoon, government says it is ready to engage bankers of the affected traders in the Edum Blue Light Fire incident to renegotiate flexible payment terms for their credit facilities. We'll be live there at the market. Also this afternoon, stakeholders in the agricultural value chain in the northern region expressed concerns over the incidents of low productivity recorded. Plus, Minority in Parliament expresses concern about what it says is the sudden incidents of drug trafficking and money laundering in the country. Barely 3 months the NDC has been in office. We have details of these and more coming up shortly. Do stick and stay. I'm Judith Brown. And our first story, pressure is mounting on education institutions to allow Muslim students to practice their faith without any hindrance. This comes barely 24 hours after the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, reiterated the need for schools to renegotiate or recognize that Ghana is a secular state with freedoms and rights, and the need for the heads of schools to allow Muslims to live out their faith. Now, the comment follows the decision of St. Rose's Senior High in Akwatia in the eastern region to deny Muslim students the opportunity to go home to observe the Eid al-Fitr despite a circular by the Ghana Education Service. Now, we'll be engaging an educationist, Dr. Peter Patianti, shortly, but first, let's take a listen to Haruna Idrisu.
I want to thank you all on behalf of Excellency for the faith and trust you have imposed in the as President of the Republic, and to assure you that he is determined and focused to serve Ghana in this governance, in the management of the economy, and in working to improve the quality of life of the Ghanaians. Speaking today after the Eid celebration, I want to announce, as Ghana's Minister for Education, that every Ghanaian child and every Ghanaian is entitled to the full benefit of all the rights and the freedoms guaranteed under the 1992 Constitution. Therefore, no Islamic school nor Christian school has the right to deny any Ghanaian child the right to practice the religion of choice. You will find any such conduct unacceptable and to be involved in international sanctions of the government. Therefore, whether it is an Islamic school or a Christian school, you must recognize and respect the obligation of every Ghanaian child to have the right to practice and profess their religion.
Well, let's now engage Dr. Peter Patianti. He joins us live on the phone now. Good afternoon, sir. Now, this long-standing issue appears to resurface. What is your take on the latest?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners. I think that the position by the headmistress or the headmaster is out of place. We all know that during these festivities, students are allowed to undertake certain activities or are allowed to go home. So I think that what the position that they took is not in line with the normal practices in most of our senior high schools. And that is why I would want to say that this is not the position of most senior high schools in the country. And as far as I'm concerned, in most senior high schools, students are allowed to practice their faith and they are allowed to do what, their religious affiliation expects them to do. We might experience this once or twice in certain schools, but that is not the reflection of the education system in Ghana, and I think this point has to be made forcefully.
And moving forward, what's your recommendation?
I think that school leaders should avert their minds to the position of the Constitution, and more importantly, to directives that have been given to them by the Ministry of Education. I know that some schools have their unique practices and other things, but they should look at this from the perspective of the generality of the people that we are, and ensure that they do not allow their personal beliefs and practices to supersede the Constitution of Ghana that allows for freedom of association in terms of religious practice and other things.
Right, many thanks for your time. That is an educationist, Dr. Peter Partianti. He has been giving us more details on this developing story. But let's move on to some more story, because the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoako-Hene, has revealed that a total of 2,900 individuals were affected by the March 21 fire disaster, which battered the Blue Light Market at Idum PZ in Kumasi. This was contained in a data NADMO collected after the disaster. Let's listen to him.
2,900 people have been affected. The NADMO report, 1,300 plus of them have the capacity to feed themselves, and in those basic needs they can provide for themselves. Around 1,500 of them do not have that capacity to provide those basic needs, for which reason the support that is coming in, they are making sure we have them in mind to give them that basic needs. It was on that report, based on that report, that the Honorable Muntaka brought in some of the rice and the oil that led to all the issues you saw on the media. Be as it may, realize that most of the people who actually engaged in that act were not people who were affected. So the traders union engaged, they came to apologize, and you see, as father and as parents, you will definitely not have all the children being on the same wavelength. So we decided that those who are in need and have come around, then at most will still let them have access to the material. It is for them, and for that reason for which he brought the items down. Okay, so those who had lockable shops, those who were hawkers, those who were having temporal structures as containers and stores within that space, you'll be able to register at least, if not all, most of them. So all support that are coming in, we channel it through this data that they have provided, in order that we can meet the specific needs so far as the issues are concerned. But hopefully, I'm sure that when we are done with all these consultations and the Excellency the President receives the report, we will come in to provide some more support for the traders. Some of them who come in complain about their bankers still, pestering them for repayment of loans. I made this this information available to His Excellency the President, who has requested that we take the details of the traders and their bankers, so that we will get to know the loans they have taken and be able to intervene, so that those banks will give them some breathing space whilst we see how best we can support them to repay those loans. So these are all support that we are making available to affected victims.
Well, let's now engage our man on the beat, William Evans Nkumi, joining us with more details on this. William, almost 2 weeks on after the Blue Light fire, tell us the current situation on the ground.
Well, Judith, so I can tell you that now the traders are still around. I'm talking about the affected traders. They come around, but they will not be allowed to rebuild. But they have been coming around just so to ensure that even if there's going to be any green light for them to start, putting up their structures again, then they will have been able to secure their respective places. So currently, that is what is also going on. But for the affected buildings, about 3 of them, we also understand that some of the traders have secured a court injunction on it because they had heard that the authority is planning to demolish them after conducting some structural integrity test on these particular buildings, and the thinking is that if they are allowed to demolish, then they are going to put up the building again, and they are likely to lose their places. So, I mean, these are some of the speculation that is making them kind of come around, and I mean, the loss of trust as far as the system is concerned is also making them, I mean, take such moves. Beyond that, I can tell you that there is relative calm as far as the affected blue light market area is concerned. Then the other side of the market, which also was hosting a chunk of people, I mean, most of them predominantly, you would say, were settlers and not necessarily traders. Part of that particular place have also been demolished by the authority, I mean, at the behest of the Regional Coordinating Council, because they could also not afford another disaster, which probably could be worse than what we will witness on the 21st of March, Judith.
Right, and if you can tell us, is the place being redeveloped now? Has it already started?
Not yet. Like I said early on, now they are waiting on the instruction of the Santene, who is now the custodian of the land. Santene is not around, but I can tell you that a decision has partly been arrived, and that is, even if there's going to be any redevelopment of the blue light market, it is going to be done in a manner that the layout, I mean, will be of standard. That is, there's going to be some level of pathways that in the future, if there's going to be any disaster of such sort, then the firefighters will not have difficulty in accessing the site.
Now, William, we know that some of the traders had secured bank loans for their businesses. Are they complaining of any pressure of any sort from their banks?
Well, absolutely. I mean, two of them have even called me last week. They were actually asking for a report because their bankers or their banks were demanding for a report to be able to enter into another negotiation. But there's a good news. The regional minister said that the president has been briefed about this particular development, and there's a possibility of government engaging bankers of these affected traders to have a renegotiation, which will at least offer them a flexible payment term. So that particular move is being initiated.
Okay, and what is the government saying about this particular one, the issue of the banks?
Well, so what government intend doing, at least from what we are hearing from the minister, not necessarily to pay the loan from the coffers of the state, but to sit down with the bankers and renegotiate a flexible term, because some of the traders have lost everything. I remember one woman telling me that she's lost everything. She had 2 warehouses stocked with wares. They're all gone. Her retail shop is also gone. So she has nothing. So such a person, she will need, flexible, or she will need more time to be able to reorganize herself. Of course, they're also seeking other credit facilities. So the negotiation, per my understanding, is going to be 2. One, government asking the bankers to consider the plight of these traders and, if possible, extend the duration for them, and then also create an avenue where the affected traders can also apply for another facility that will enable them, bounce back to business.
Right, many thanks for your time. That's my colleague and the Northern Bureau Chief, William Evansinkum. He has been following up on that particular story of the fire outbreak at the Doom Market in Kumasi. But let's do one more story before we go. The minority in Parliament has expressed worry about what it says is a sudden rise in drug trafficking and money laundering in the country barely 3 months after the NDC came into office. A ranking member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, Reverend Intim Fodjo, addressing the media in Accra, called for swift and transparent investigations by the national security.
Cocaine and cash. Ladies and gentlemen, on another security matter related to our airspace, the Minority Caucus calls on national security to, as a matter of urgency, make public the content of cargo suspected to be cocaine and cash transported into the country by 2 suspicious flights, namely Med flights N823AM and Kavok Air private jets Antonov An-12B, which landed on the tarmac of Kotoka International Airport in March 2025 from Gran Canaria, an island of Spain, and departed to the same Gran Canaria days after their arrival. Reliable intelligence intercepted by the Minority Caucus indicates that on March 20th, 2025, air-med flight N823AM, which is an air ambulance, and I must stress, it's an air ambulance designed specifically to carry patients, landed at Kotoka International Airport in Accra, Ghana, and remained in the country for 5 days before departing 1 a.m. on March 25th, 2025, back to Gran Canaria. Our intelligence further persists that no patient was transported by the said air-med flights, neither to nor from Accra. There is no evidence of medical referral or patients accompanying or on board the flights on either legs of the flight. We are reliably informed that contrary to the expectation that the air-med flight would carry patients, the purpose for which it was designed and operates, it rather on those occasions carried suspicious cargo suspected to be cocaine and cash in various United States dollars denominations.
And that's our wrap up the midday news right here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you always. Do stay tuned. Black Rasta is up next with his show. Bye-bye.